Hi everyone, and we are completely in bloom right now in this area. Everyone just starting to do its thing, and Teasing Georgia is one that we've always, get so excited to see in the beginning of spring, to see these beautiful, beautiful rosettes. So that's who we're going to talk about today. She is about 2 years going into 3 years with us that we have, added her to our David Austin collection, and we have her in a container. Pretty soon this climber is going to have to be taken out, and I'm thinking this fall. We're going to let her do her thing right now, not bother her, and around fall time, we'll get going and get a nicer, a bigger size container for her. Now, this climbing rose is very free. It's a very free flowering climber. When it starts to bloom, it just blooms everywhere. It has a very, very lovely scent as well, more of a tea rose scent. It is strong, you can smell it, so it will be beautiful to have it in an area where you walk by a lot. It does grow to be up to 12 feet in height, but I've actually seen, in other people's gardens, they get pretty big. Teasing Georgia can really get big. Now, we have her in the container, so she's contained and not doing what she's supposed to, but I have a feeling if she was in the ground, she would be a lot bigger and fuller. We did have to cut her back really, really hard when we first arrived here to this new home. So that's why, too, she's not as big as she should be right now, going on her 3rd year. Another thing that I love about her rosette blooms is that the bud, that's one of the things first. My husband, Ambrose, was telling me right now that it has this color of like a strawberry lemonade as the buds start to open. And it's very true. It has a little bit of that pink coral look. And then they start to bloom. And they start to open with this beautiful color inside of that strong yellow, almost into a orange hint in there. And as it starts to open, its petals start to fade into this beautiful light yellow that I just love so much. Every single moment of that rose as it's opening is just beautiful. Deadheading is going to start happening soon, as we are already starting to lose some of the petals here, the flowers. Another thing that I can say is I really don't have many problems with them, meaning black spot. We do live in a very humid, hot climate, and it's very rainy here in our Zone 7B, Virginia, and it rains a lot. We do get a lot of black spot. I see some once in a while. I noticed that it was starting to get some up there. But it's as soon as we get right, if we get right to it and take care of it, it won't be an issue, throughout the season. It is a repeating bloomer. We do get to see it flush out, giving a lot of, flushing out from all the way from late spring, which is now, all the way to fall. So it's really nice to have this one. If somebody is looking for a rose that gives a lot, Teasing Georgia is certainly one to go with.
Hey garden friends, welcome to another Rose Chat video. Today we are talking about Teasing Georgia.
The yellow beauty. Yellow roses in the garden was something that we always wanted yellow in the garden. We started growing yellow roses, but I don't know, we never had really good luck with the past ones that we grew. So that's why I think we entered the world of English roses, so we could have something a lot more prettier and more healthier. And that's what it's been with Teasing Georgia. Now, Teasing Georgia. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about it. I know I already spoke about Teasing Georgia, but I want to talk a little bit about the personal take for us on Teasing Georgia. So, when we first got Teasing Georgia, it was, how old is she right now?
Oh man, she is maybe 2.5 years now.
2.5.
Yeah.
And we actually bought her from a local nursery back in North Carolina. And when we first got her, we asked other growers that were growing Teasing Georgia, rose lovers, and everyone would say how challenging she was going to be, meaning
Yeah.
in her blooming. A lot of people were telling us that she wouldn't come into bloom till the second year.
Yeah.
And then that same
year she produced, and wasn't as much, but she did produce.
she gave blooms, and the most pretty blooms.
I think where the term teasing comes from is those buds start to form, and it takes a while for them to open. So I think that's where the teasing comes from, because
She teases you.
I was out there almost every day waiting for these buds to open up. But man, when they open, and we'll put some footage in there, it just completely opens.
Yeah,
Angie
our
likes,
daughters
yeah.
were like every day just stuck to the wall trying to see if anything was going to change in just that little bit of time.
Yeah. And so Angie has dubbed that wall right there golden hour, because it absolutely looked beautiful.
And I explained that to y'all in the video. It's just when that light hits right there. I think that's the important thing about creating a garden, walking around first and seeing what happens in every spot. And every spot of the garden has something special.
Oh yeah.
Every area in that spot, just when it was golden hour, it glowed, and there was nothing on there yet. And I knew I had Teasing Georgia somewhere waiting where to place her. And
Yeah.
I told Ambrose, I found the spot.
Yeah.
I found the spot. I need some yellow right there, so when that golden hour comes by, it just glows, and it does just that.
Yeah.
So that little area is inspired by golden hour, and that's why I call it golden hour. Another thing is having strong colors in the garden. We have such a small garden that it's really, really sometimes hard to bring in. We love every color. We love light colors, pastel colors. We like strong colors. And especially moving into a home that is red, that kind of made us really think of, well, you need stronger colors, but how can you do it where it doesn't look all over the place? We learned with Teasing Georgia.
Yeah.
And then with another rose in red, how to bring those colors and still make them mingle all together.
Yes.
And later in time, we'll talk more about that, how you can have everything in a garden, even if it's so small.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's really our take on Teasing Georgia. She's been amazing.
Yeah, she has been amazing. Like I said, just all those clusters of blooms that just out of nowhere just completely open. Make that side of the wall look absolutely stunning.
And this year, I think something different was the pink lemonade that Ambrose keeps on mentioning.
So I'll insert some video in there, because I started calling it pink lemonade because it has this beautiful like tie-dye pink that just showed up out of nowhere.
First time ever seen it.
And I haven't done the research yet. I tried to look at some of the of the forums and stuff like that, see where that comes from.
What happens is, I think this is a big example. Moving from place to a different zone. We were living in a zone 8B before here, North Carolina. Never got to see that color. She was in full sun.
Yeah.
Here we have her on, she gets not morning sun, but afternoon hits, and then from there on, she gets all sun all day long. But I think it depends a lot on the climates, the weather. The roses change color with the climate and the temperatures. That's where the size of the bloom, sometimes, you can be reading all the books you want on them, and they're going to tell you that, the rose is supposed to be this big in shape or that certain color. And we have a rose like that we'll talk about later, but it won't do what the picture's showing you or the size of the bloom, because your climate is just so different. It might be really warm or way too cool for that rose. Teasing Georgia doesn't start blooming for us a little later here than what it did in North Carolina, but because it likes it hot.
Yeah, it
likes heat.
It was a lot hotter in North Carolina. The temperature started to rise very, very late March. So the heat was already on, and it was starting to create buds right then and there. In this zone here, I think mid-April, maybe late April, and just at the beginning of May, it started to open up its bloom. So zones really play a big part when it comes to getting a rose for your zone.
The climate means a lot.
We receive all kinds of questions about, what rose is best for me? What do you think I should start with? And although we would love to answer all those questions, it's very not challenging, but it's very hard to determine what rose is going to be good for you, because within each zone you have these microclimates and different areas of
your garden,
you know,
your garden spaces have microclimates where the temperatures are very different.
Yeah.
So even that can affect what a plant's going to do, any plant. And we know for a fact, because I thought we were going to walk into a little garden. It became gardens, and they're all different.
Yep.
Well, before we get going more and finish this video, before, I don't want to forget this one too. What I do love about her is how she grows, and you can grow her in a shrub form.
Oh, yeah.
But I love how she climbs, and a lot of people want to see that fullness on the bottom.
Yes.
She's your girl.
Yeah, so Teasing Georges is one of those unique climbers that it's going to produce at the bottom. It's going to produce almost a shrub-like form.
If you let her do that.
Letting it do it, and that's something we purposely did before we pruned it, is we left a lot of that bottom growth and left those
It still needs to fill out more because it's in that container.
Yeah, so we left the 3 to 4 canes that were growing up and climbing, and then just left that bottom portion, so we had that nice fullness at the bottom and then that growth on top, and absolutely full of foliage. The foliage contrasting with the yellow blooms absolutely looks beautiful, and that's something I like about Teasing Georgia a lot.
I had to throw that in right now. I know we were talking about the whole climate things, but I had to throw that in because I always forget to mention that.
Yeah.
So don't want to make it any longer, guys, because we can continue talking about.
It's we have plenty of roses here to review and talk about and have chats about. And again, Teasing Georgia is just one of those is absolutely beautiful. I think one thing we should talk about is I know you have more experience with Teasing Georgia is the thorns, because that's something that
she has thorns. She has thorns, but they're not as bad as other, as Gertrude Jekyll or Harlow Carr. It's not that bad. I'm going to say medium, moderate amount of thorns. And you want to, I think I did mention it where I did the talk about her.
Yeah.
You do want to have her, if you have a place that you want to smell, that rose fragrance. She has a very pretty tea fragrance. You can put her somewhere by a door.
Yeah.
And she has that beautiful, for us, the leaves. I always say, try to get a rose. If you're gonna have it in a place where you traffic a lot and pass by, or in the front of the house, that's going to keep that foliage attractive foliage. For us, it can get some black spot. It is not bad, and it keeps its leaves.
Yeah, so I mean that's definitely one thing you don't want in a climber, especially in a doorway, an archway, whatever the case is something that's going to lose foliage or not have very attractive foliage. And I think again, that's what attracts me more to Teasing Georgia, is that again, that contrast. It has plenty of foliage, and it has a lovely green to it.
But it has to do, like we said, about the climates too. It's that's why I always encourage people, go ahead and we have here the catalog from David Austin, and I can't say enough about the catalog, because it really is. It's not just a book full of pretty. There's a lot of knowledge in there. They let you know what climate, a perfect rose, the perfect rose for your climate,
for your zone and climate and area. I mean, the awesome thing about these handbooks is they're free handbooks, and it's not really a handbook. It's a book. I mean, you're getting a book for free that's going to give you every piece. We own other David Austin Roses books, and there's a lot of knowledge in there, and that's something you pay for. These handbooks are going to contain almost the same.
I go back to them all the time because
they're going to contain almost the same information, and it's going to help you tremendously if you're researching what kind of rose to get.
And sometimes we go off the rules, and because we must have that rose. But I always try to tell people, when you guys DM me and ask me, can I still grow it if it's not from my area? Yes, you can, but just understand you're probably going to have to baby that rose a lot more, and not expect for it to do what you see in other gardens. You might have to struggle a little bit with it.
Oh yeah.
The same rose, might not do that great in another part of the world or state or whatever, zone than what you see in somebody else's garden. So just keep that in mind when you pick roses.
Yeah, so I mean that's definitely education is probably the best thing you can do when it comes to roses and what you want to grow in your garden. But again, Teasing Georgia is absolutely beautiful rose. I love it. Going back to the scent, because I know Angie had already talked about that, but it does have a scent. I don't smell it as much, and that's just different things. Like Angie, there's some roses that I absolutely love, and I can smell something, and Angie says she don't. I smell a very very light tea scent to it. That's just my take on it, and that's a great thing about these videos, is that we both have different opinions about the roses, and whatever you can take from this video is definitely what we're trying to do.
And let us know too your experience with the roses that we are talking about.
Yep.
Because we live, you know, Virginia, humid climate, hot climate, zone 7B, and it's very different
Yep.
from other areas. Every area is different. So let us know how it does for you. So I think we should leave it here.
Yeah.
And first of all, I wanted to say, you know, our one of our daughters has been coming out here, and she told me, when was it, the other day, we needed flowers on the table.
Yeah.
So I've been, you know, coming out here and pulling together a little something of what's going on. This is Harlow Carr. Added a little bit of
Smells
something there, and
wonderful.
it's the best roast to like have right now, because I
Yeah.
just want to be like this. But okay, just wanted to say, you know, our daughter Amberlyn,
Yeah.
you know, so she wanted us to give her a little shout out, you know, shout out here. So
Yeah,
okay.
she always wants to be in videos, and unfortunately, trying to get her into doing that is.
You'll be seeing her
yeah,
soon.
Yeah, but again, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I mean, a quick and easy talk about Teasing Georgia. Probably one of the shortest rose talk videos we've done so far. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe. I
But-
don't know, because we just keep on rambling about what did I tell you the other day? And here I go again. We're rose lovers. We're like ramblers.
Yeah.
Like rose ramblers. We just can never stop. So
Yep.
we are. It is just, there's so much to learn about roses. They teach us so much, and not just in the garden life. They teach us in other things of life. So that's why they're so amazing.
Yep. So again, that's gonna do it for the video, guys. Don't forget, we had our cafecito here. I didn't say that at the beginning of the video. I apologize. But again, that's gonna do it for the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.